Well, we're back to an exciting part of the year, and quite frankly, had a really exciting week coming off a pretty tough week. And nothing will bring you up quicker than seeing your horses win like they did on Monday. For James to win 8 races, and then for us to win 4 of them for him, with him, was impressive. And then even further to that, for a horse like Locatelli, not only to break out of his shell and do exactly what I said he would do, which would be eventually win the Open, he set a track record, equaled it in December. It's amazing because that track record was held by Mr. Herbie. That was like the Canadian Trotting Classic in the middle of the summer, and I think the other one was Musical Rhythm, wasn't it? 2 very good horses, and for him to go that fast, that was an amazing mile, an amazing feat. And that is even the best part of the entire week. The best part of the week happened today, on Saturday. And you might say, oh, the open house was good. It was good. It's not what I'm talking about. Punch the Clock returned to the stable today on her own steam, now under strict instructions, but a clean bill of health, which is incredible. And you know what? What even made me feel better was I got a message from the surgeon at the university. Well, one of the surgeons. Now, Natalie Cote, we have a very good relationship with, a very, very nice lady, and an extremely good surgeon. Now, she didn't operate on Punch the Clock, but she kept tabs on Punch the Clock. We had talked in passing about Punch the Clock. Natalie is the one that took the OCDs out of the filly. What is that filly's name? You don't know. You didn't know? Something like that. And Always Be Mickey filly that came to the barn also had OCDs in one hawk, and it looked a little rough, the other hawk. So Natalie cleaned both hawks up, and I told everybody in a video last night how appreciative I was of the work that was done on Punch the Clock. Now, they were paid handsomely for it. Quite a bill amassed for that filly, but honestly, it really didn't matter for what we paid for her, how close she was to literal death, and for her to make what appears to be a full recovery without any ramifications, without any concerns after the fact, without anything that should ever hold her back, is nothing short of a miracle. So, keep in mind, we had paid decent money, a lot of money for us, but in the bigger scheme of things, very decent money for this filly. This was before King of the North had won the Breeders' Crown, and looks like he may be in the running, if not already, for 3-year-old Trotter of the Year, standing stud in Ontario. All this took place after we bought Punch the Clock. So if she was in fact worth at least what we paid for her on that day, she could be worth as much as twice that now. So the bill, I'm sure, is a whopping $25,000 Canadian. It's a lot of money. It still pales in comparison to what they saved us by saving her life. And that's just talking about her worth as a horse. But what she was worth to us as a stable, what we're trying to do, what we've done by buying her, buying horses like her, and Time Is On My Side, and Arson, horses that have these very, very deep families. It says a lot about what we did in 2022, and a good indicator of what we might be able to do in 2023. So again, so flattered to get the note from Dr. Cote, and quite frankly, not just from me, but from everybody in the stable, not just the people that own Punch the Clock, but everyone in the stable. A very humble thank you very much for saving this filly, because what she represented for us was a lot. So Punch the Clock back in the barn, super, super excited that she's back now. By back, I mean she's present. I don't mean she's going to resume jogging for a bit until she's at 100% peak health and recovered from this. It will be a real low-key time for her. But the good news is she was a month ahead of the Harrisburg horses anyway. She was going. She had been in 2:58 as training. She'd already been a mile. So it's not really the end of the world. And as I said, just feel so very, very lucky that she made it. And we could tell by what happened last week how fragile these horses truly are. Just very lucky that this filly survived. So we had the return of Punch the Clock. We had the open house. I did a top 10 video. Now, it's probably one of the most mundane top 10 videos you're ever going to see because it means nothing. The horses are barely gated and going. But at the same token, horses that were impressive today and deserved to be singled out as such. So I did do a little top 10 list for everybody. So proud of what took place today. Amy crushed everybody today. I don't know if you paid attention to the scoreboard, but I got shut out today. Not a victory.
Was that why you're so cranky?
I wasn't cranky. Oh, you're walking around with your nose stuck up because you had 3 wins in a second or something. All of a sudden, superstar friggin' Amy Dunn wins everything, and all of a sudden it's cool. Amy had a big day. Horses looked tremendous. Venice Blue Chip, the ones you went with, Sedona Hill, and I did not mention Oh Snap You, who looked fantastic also. I had some horses that looked good that I was impressed with, although Goldbug got beat fair and square. Goldbug was a Harrisburg purchase. The filly she went with, Harrisburg purchase, Southwind Digit. The other horses were all a mix of Lexington and Ohio, well ahead of those two, and they held their own right to the bitter end. So very happy with them. Circling back to what we did on the track this week. White Tiger, another winner on the track, 53-2. Did he win? Now the only problem with Tiger is he just seems like he can't get. He's either getting in the open when he shouldn't be in the open, or not getting in at all. I know they're just itching to throw him back to the back in the open. He should fit the class below.
He's not getting in the class below.
Why not? Who told you that? It's ridiculous. Horse wins in the 20,000 class.
So last week they had 4 entries for anything over non-winners of 12,000 last 5.
And that's the problem we're running into.
And then that's putting Tiger in the open. They had 4.
There was a time when I said we'll just take Locatelli and race him in the meadows, much like we did Sintra a couple of times. I can't do that now. Horse just broke the track record, or set the track record. I can't take White Tiger over there because he doesn't get around a 5/8 as good as the 7/8. And I could enter him there and race him there next week. I'm just not super confident. One, I haven't had any luck myself with White Tiger in a millennium. It seems like forever. It's been starts since White Tiger raced well for me. So I certainly am not doing anybody any favors by driving him. Secondly, he doesn't get around a 5/8 real good, and there's no slouches in the meadows. Good as him is in the open this week. I felt terrible. Tim said, "Hey, you got Grace in and another horse on Wednesday. Are you coming?" I said, "Yes, I want to drive Grace. I want to atone for what took place the other day. I'll drive Grace." He said, "Great, would you mind driving Donato?" I said, "No problem, of course I will." I didn't realize that Stacy had entered Good as Him in with, and Tim didn't know that Good as Him was our horse. I said, "Tim, I can't drive Donato for 2 reasons. One, I'm a partner in Good as Him, so I obviously can't drive against Good as Him. And 2, that's our horse, Good as Him." I said, Stacy just messaged me and told me that she had entered him in the meadows. So I'm going to drive Good as Him in the open over there. Again, Good as Him is not as good as White Tiger. Not even in the same sentence, but White Tiger, again, the only track I would send White Tiger to right now, if they could get in every week in a fair class, would be the Meadowlands. But again, he's going to fit up in the open where you're going to race against, I know Back of the Neck and them, or Back of the Neck's retired, but that's a shark-infested tank, that open there. And for them to say, "Well, if there's a class I could race him in," like I said to Amy, I know she doesn't want to, but if there was like 100 claimer we could keep White Tiger in, an 80 or 100 US claimer for sure that would keep him out of the open, that is a great class. But I don't think it's filling every week at the Meadowlands. As I say that, I'm sure people are right now going online and looking, and I can look. If we had somewhere we could race White Tiger full-time, where he could race against his own kind, because he can't trot 50-4, he can't beat Locatelli. It's unfair to race this horse in there, but as Amy just said, there's no horses for the backup classes in Ontario, which is shocking because they race for good money. I don't want to take him to the Meadows. Would have taken Locatelli, but it's a moot point now, because I think he can win the Open. I told you guys, remember what I said. I told you he would eventually win the Open. Now that's not really a prediction. Of course, eventually, someday he would, but he can ride out the next week and won it.
Moving one of those horses isn't helping the situation, because
still make sure they get a class for them.
It's gonna be just how it's gonna be for them.
Yeah, but that's not going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help us because the class they're saying, no, White Tiger's got to win there. He can't beat. It's unfair to him. You know, if I said, if there was a Meadowlands, there used to be, in not that distant past, the Meadowlands would have 100 claimers, 80 claimers. That would be a great place to race White Tiger, but I'll look. I know you guys are looking right now. There's no point sending me an email. I'll look. But really, truthfully, right now, it's Mohawk or the Meadowlands. Now, if Indiana was open all winter, potentially, there should be a class to race White Tiger where he wouldn't have to win the Open. Now, if he's got a bunch of money, I think he's got $55,000 in the last 10. So it's not like this horse is really being done by. It's just unfair because he can't beat our other Open trotter, let alone the other horses if it's going to race in the Open. So we're the good problem we have is that we have a really good trotter that we're trying to find a proper class for. And at this point, looking at the playing field, there's the Meadowlands and Mohawk. Mohawk doesn't have a ton for us right now, but I don't want to just get him eviscerated at the Meadowlands either. So we'll see. That's where we're at with Tiger, but he raced great last week. What's that? Well, Megan would know. Just go on and look at the Meadowlands the last last 6 cards to see if there was a high-end trot with an optional tag hooked on it. Not that hard. Looks like money. Man, he looked like he might be a pretty good purchase. Just picked off the other guy that we pulled over on the side of the road. I think I posted that video where we were bidding on. I did. If you guys remember, when we were leaving Harrisburg, we had just bought Looks Like Money, and we're currently bidding on Majestic J. Now, we weren't the underbidders. Majestic J went for 130. We were out at 110, I think. I would have went to 150 on Majestic J had we not bought Looks Like Money, which, at least for this week, it looks like we did okay since he picked him off the wire. Make no mistake, Unbeatable Kemp knocking on the door. Now, the 10 hole for him is a little unfair again. What are you going to do? It's not like he was assigned. You know, there's always that little voice in me that wants to get them out of the gate pretty good. But with the 10 hole, probably would make a wise decision and get away 7th or 8th or 9th, or hopefully not 10th. I hate 10th. Oh, I can't get away 10th. Maybe 7th would be great for us. Get a little toe from the 2 that beat us last week. And if I can stay close to them and they don't sit 1-2 again like they did last week, then don't be surprised to see a big white-faced horse blowing by them down the lane. He was awesome the other day also, Unbeatable Kemp. Looks Like Money, as I said, very good. Resolute Bay was incredible again. You know, we quietly had a conversation in the group over the last week, and I know what I meant to say the other day was that the vast majority of the group did not want to sell, and it came out, I believe, as it did want to sell. So I had a number of our clients saying, who wants to sell? I mean, I don't want. And it's pretty simple. One, we have the back end of our site, and I did see some shares of Resolute Bay sell this week. I get an email every time somebody buys or sells a horse. I get it pops into my email, and I saw that a couple of Resolute Bay shares had sold. So there is a back end site to sell the shares, and it was as easy as I put it the other day. Resolute Bay is the type of horse we'd be trying to buy right now. Why on God's green earth would I sell him? I know that James had mentioned it a couple of times because James didn't believe in him as a 3-year-old, and that's not to take anything away from James. James deals in reality. Show me how good the horse is today, and I'll tell you what I think, and so on, and so on, and so on, every single week. But James sees a smaller little red horse at 1:53, but kind of knifes through to get the job done. He's like, I don't know if he's going to get any better. Well, I see a horse that has a brother who's a world champion that always finds a way to find the winner's circle and looks to do it. It's not luck. It's not like a couple made a break or there was, a guy hooked a wheel. He gets there because he wants to get there. And you can't teach a horse that. It comes with them or does not come with them. And Resolute Bay is not for sale. How's that? For the people that want to sell Resolute Bay or want to sell their shares, we do have a site, and there were shares sold the other day, so you can't say they're not. They are selling on the back end. And for the people that want to keep them, I don't blame you. I'm one of you too. I said I was Switzerland. I wasn't casting a vote. I wasn't going to sway anybody. But I too have shares in Resolute Bay, and I really don't want to sell them either. How's that? So Resolute Bay is not going anywhere. Discussion is closed for now. And next year, when we bring him back, at some point, he'll need rested. And when we bring him back, if he doesn't get any better or slides a bit, okay. Still doesn't owe us a dime. Never has. We didn't give that much for him. The horse has raced very, very well. And there's no indication he won't continue to race well either. So Resolute Bay raced absolutely tremendous the other day. And a hard closing winner in 54 just showed again he's a winner. Locatelli, now I had told everybody over and over again, it's only a matter of time. You draw the inside in a 6-horse field with Locatelli, you get spotted away 5th with the favorites up front. It's not going to be the ending you want. That's just the way it is. There's no arguing that. But when you can blast him out of the gate, and James drove him perfectly. Rev him up, time the gate, get him away close, and then Louis Philippois never come off the accelerator. I had said to Amy, we're sitting there in bed watching the race, and I said to her, I don't know if he can beat this horse. He's going to give him a scare tonight. And he gave them more than a scare. He blew by them and opened up and just looked tremendous. And the horses he beat, there was no fluke. HB Mama B and Logan Park are legit good horses and have been. Locatelli beat them fair and square. 2 moves, looked great. James drove him great. The horse responded fantastic. So proud. Just proud of Harry too. And I guess, that's not even the biggest news. I talked about the horse coming home. That's wonderful. Some other big news of the week, Harry Poulton. He's up for an O'Brien Award Horsemanship of the Year. This is a guy that has been training horses since I was old enough to watch races. My brother Mark and I grew up watching reruns of Matt Scooter and On the Road Again. There was not a start in Matt Scooter's career, well, I guess staking career, or On the Road Again staking career that I don't know exactly how the race went, who won it, and how fast they went. Because I've watched the race 1,000 times if I've watched it once. I can tell you what the announcer says in the entire race. I knew everything about those horses from watching the cassette tapes when I was a kid. 10, 11 years old. Fast forward all this time forward. Harry Poulton had stables, had public stables. They get bigger, they got smaller. They fizzled out. He retired. He went back to PEI. Stayed in retirement for a year, but like most people that love their jobs, came out of retirement. Gave him an opportunity to train some horses for us. That opportunity, much like the opportunity of you and me and my wife, got better and better and better horses. We upgraded, as I said last week, whenever we could. Every year we got better horses and better horses. Fast forward to 2022. Harry Poulton tonight has 2 horses in the open pace. One that won the preferred handicap last week. Won the open trot the other day and equaled the track record in doing so. Sintra and Harry Poulton have a lot in common. A lot in common. Everybody counted them out, so to speak. We gave them a place to do their best work, and man, oh man, have both of them shine. I just so proud of what Harry's done, and what he's, I was going to say become, but it's not what he's become. He's already been there. Most of us will never have the horses that he's already had in his life. And for him to come back, this resurgence, this phoenix of a trainer, so to speak, and end up being nominated for a Horsemanship of the Year. He should win Horsemanship of the Year. That's to take nothing away from Sean Stacey. He's an up-and-coming trainer, good kid, been in the horse racing business his whole life. Ian Moore, trainer of Shadow Play, right? Trainer of, what's the other good horse? I said a ton of them. Over and over and over again, great horses. Just an accomplished horseman, and obviously he's up this year because the 2-year-old, it's a good 2-year-old's name, the really good one that Jody won, the Sealster horse that won the, he won the Metro. Jody zipped through the middle of them there and beat them. Anyway, Ian starts with S.
It does.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Ian's had a great year. Sean's had a great year. And Harry Poulton, I mean, I don't even know what his training average is at Mohawk. It's got to be 350. Won the grassroots final with Resolute Bay, won the grassroots final with Nothing But a Dreamer, equaled the track record with Locatelli, won the open pace, or the preferred handicap with Sintra. I'd like to win it 2 weeks in a row tonight if I could. Just had a tremendous year, a consummate professional, and a true gentleman. And, you know, when you say horseman, that's what you're supposed to be like. So, good for Harry. So proud of him and excited. And hopefully he wins the O'Brien Award. I don't think I have to wish James McDonald much luck in winning the Driver of the Year O'Brien Award. There would be a riot if he didn't. There is just no way that he does not win it again this year. Not by money, not by wins, not by UDRS, not by anything. There is no measurement that James McDonald is not number one in Canada. And I am biased. He is my brother. And I am super proud of him. But numbers are numbers. And there's no one even remotely around when it comes to competing with James right now. And that's not that he's so much better than everybody. Everybody has their turn, right? Dougie had a big run. Scotty did. Mark, Jody, Sylvain forever also. Chris Christoforou, Randy Waples, Doug Brown, all these guys from all around. Paul, everyone has had their chance, and you never can stay on top forever. This game will run you over. I don't care how good you are. But James is on top right now, and I hope he soaks it all in because he deserves it. He's over 100 wins ahead of the next competition. He's going over 10 million in purses this year. Just a tremendous run he's been on, and you know, we're happy to be a part of that. Whether I'm not saying that we were a part of him being the O'Brien Award winner, but he definitely won a lot of races with our horses. So congratulations to James. Also last week, Macho Martini. Now these are B-track horses, but still they raced well. Macho Martini was second. I thought he raced well. Oliver, turn that down, please. Macho Martini raced really well. Atlas Hanover was second also in 53 at Dover. He raced really well. Matt's MVP came all the way back from Northfield Park on almost the day before, I think, the day before he raced, to Dominic. Finished third, raced great. The horse just raced tremendous. And continues to be a nice horse for us. I told you when he left Ontario, half-mile track racing is not his forte. He's not built for the half-mile tracks. Northfield will not be friendly to him. But there was no non-winners of two at the time. He ended up finishing first and second in the divisions of the non-winners of whatever stake race, and then made a break in the final, came right back to Ontario and raced good again the other day. Now, a lot of people asking me, where's Renegade Gypsy? What happened with Stonebridge Acadi? So we did have some horses that tie up this year, and Iglariam is different. When you have the fillies that tie up with their horsing, it's problematic for months. But when you have these anomalies where tie up, it happens from time to time, and almost every time you can directly attribute it to the weather. And when it came to Stonebridge Acadi and Renegade Gypsy, I would suspect that's what happened because they don't usually tie up. Stonebridge Acadi tied up the first night. He was no good. We had his AST down good, I believe Mario said, and then he tied up even worse than the first time the second night. So we're going to eradicate it, get it down normally, but more importantly, I'm going to take him over to Ohio, and it has nothing to do with Mario and everything to do with that they're crying for non-winners of two horses over this way, and they're not really getting in over here. Stonebridge Acadi, yeah, he races for 8,800 Canadian. Wonderful. He races for 9,500 here, US, and he can beat those horses. So Stonebridge Acadi is coming to Northfield Park, and then Renegade Gypsy's not going anywhere. But gave him 2 weeks off, get that AST down, train him up tight, and get him in to go next week. As I said to everybody, for the people out there saying, he's got to be tired, that's not up to you or me. That'll be up to the horse. And I've heard this echoed and echoed and echoed again. We just bought Looks Like Money. He went in 53, one of the best races of the year for him. Again, all these horses are going to need a rest at some point. Resolute Bay, again, has he looked sharper than he did the other day? Has he ever finished as good as he did the other day? No, of course not. Let the horses do their work and let them tell us when they need a rest. And that is exactly what we're going to do. Treat them on a case-by-case basis. Now, Renegade Gypsy, if we get him cleaned up, we go to race him and he looks flat, fine. No problem. Out to the field you go. But he's going to be the one making that decision, not me, not you, not anybody else. Him and Mario. So, again, we've come to the part where we talk about horses that are going to be leaving. Now, I don't want to do a sale list. I told you the other day there was 12 or 13 horses that would be leaving. First one off the ship was Archer's Rainbow the other day. I put her in a position just to race okay. I'm going to suspect that deer didn't make it well, and that gentleman's front end of his car didn't either. That sucks. Nothing. So we had sold a number of, we will be selling a number of horses coming up. For the simple fact they're not stable horses. As I said, Archer's Rainbow, put her in a position. I just wanted her to go out and finish up strong and race good. She flattened out down the lane and raced terrible. That's enough. I went to bat. I stuck up for her. We trained her back. You know, she won the start before at the Meadows, but now moving up into non-winners of 2, straight non-winners of 2 competition, she looked outmatched. It wasn't an anomalous race. It wasn't that she'd been racing great and this was odd that she raced flat. No. The first chance that she was put in a position to have to race that much better, she didn't. So now she's gone. And she's not going to be the only one. Anybody that looks like they're not a stable horse will not be a stable horse after January. Now, I'm not just going to rush out and get rid of them all and do it. But I am going to systematically move these horses out because we have horses that are going to be coming in. I bid on a horse today that we didn't get again, and I'll continue to look for horses. The sale market right now is a little bit hot, so it's harder to find them. But we do have that January 16th mixed sale coming up. That's where we got Kings County last year. What was the little horse of Brenda's? The sweet little horse we got? Bolt Power. We got him. What was another one we got there? We got one more, I think. That was a really good horse for us. Yeah, that same sale. Oh, Patrick Wild. No, we bought Patrick in the preferred sale around that same time. But we will have horses that we end up bringing on board. But those will be horses that we're trying to do some good. We're not always going to do good. Listen, we're going to get some LD's Patricks, and we're going to get some Handsome Faces. Another horse that's leaving, right, by the way. But that's the way it is. We can't always be right. That's the beauty of this industry, is once in a while, you will get a horse that really comes forward. But you have to understand that there's a lot of them waiting out there for you that aren't. So as long as your worst case scenario isn't horrible, and your best case scenario is good, there are horses that we're going to look for out there. You know what we're looking for. Numbers of 2, numbers of 3 trotters, or horses like Looks Like Money that looks like they can make an immediate impact at the stable. Probably some pacers. I know we don't have many of them, but they are getting in at Mohawk full time. I think Tony O'Sullivan had said, the race secretary had said about a month ago, I talked to him, that numbers of 2 pacing fillies seemed to be a little bit of a shortage, but they were getting in every week. So we're going to look at what we have to race. We also have horses training back. Absolute Euphoria schooled fantastic the other day. She's going to make her first lifetime start next week. Who else do we qualify? Oh, he schooled also. My 1% has been looking pretty good of late also. He's going to be racing. Now you might say, what about Rito Legacy? She qualified the other day. She won't be racing. Not for us. She'll be racing for someone else. Again, have to give the horses a chance. Just prove me wrong. I'll give you a chance to prove me wrong. But once you prove me wrong and once you're not as good as we hoped, somebody else can race these horses. There's always somebody that wants to race at Flamborough or London full-time or Monticello or wherever. Northfield, Meadows, it doesn't matter. There'll be a spot for the horses, just not with us. So that's where we're at when it comes to the sales. As we get through this part of the season, now the drones are starting, the babies are going, the 2-year-olds that are about to turn 3 are coming back in from the field. As we continue along the road, we're going to continue to move out some of the horses that are stragglers and try to bring in some other horses to strengthen that bottom line, and that's what we're trying to do here in December of 2022. So with that, I'll let you go. I'm so excited. One, for Harry Poulton. Congratulations, Harry. You deserved it 100%. Punch the Clock is back. Man, so lucky. You guys have no idea. I'm sure you saw the look on my face when I was trying to explain what was taking place for everybody over the last 3 weeks. You have no idea how miraculous it is this filly is with us still. So thank you very much again to the University of Guelph and for the week that we had, whether it be the open house here with the babies, or whether it be Locatelli, or Looks Like Money, or Resolute Bay, or White Tiger. We had a great week, we had a great year, and hopefully it's only going to get better. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys too had a great weekend. I will talk to you soon.